relaxed, fun memory you can think of?
I had a real nice afternoon with Maya Angelou, just hanging out, eating pig's feet. No, just had a good time with her.
And how do you prefer to wear your hair?
Well, as you can see, I'm doing cornrows right now. I'm a chameleon. I like to change it up every now and then and have some fun with my hair. But besides this, I like rocking my afro.
Or go for a lot of money?
Your hair would go for a lot of money, yes.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get close, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I've got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king. I told you guys before.
All right, y'all. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are your trusted RBN, your real bravado network, where we discuss black issues, especially those issues that keep black folk from being together. My name is TJ, and I'm your facilitator on this journey today, where we dare to be bold, not silent. All right, y'all. It's got, look, we got an interesting one today. So I got a lot of questions today about today's topic. Today we're gonna get really into the Texas Crown Act, but I got a lot of questions before we got there. And look, y'all know I'm not afraid of nobody, but guess what? Today, I got women from all across the country to talk to me about black women's hair. And let's see if I can get through this thing alive. And even more specifically about some of these black women that's going to be on today, 2 of them are my sisters, my actual sisters. One is my cousin who's actually my sister. Well, she's my sister. You know how cousins are just extended siblings, but Khadijah's my actual cousin, but that's my sister too. So, and then I have 2 amazing content creators with me. I have my Sexy is Strong, who personal trainer, but and also good foodie. Check her channel out. Let me do this real quick. Let me drop my Sexy Strong's channel in the channel link. I mean, in the chat. So there's my Sexy is Strong, and then we got our up and coming, our soon to be 10,000 subscriber channel, Almond Eyes, who is here in the building, who's gonna rock with me today, and I am dropping her channel in the link. I mean, in the chat as well. I guess it's late, y'all, and ain't nothing in here strong. Ain't nothing in here strong. They're just water. They're just water. So that don't mind me and my stuttering and everything else. But before we get started, please do us a favor and acknowledge me. That's right. Acknowledge the Real Bravado Network. Acknowledge the guests that are here today. Acknowledge those in the chat. Acknowledge those that are watching. Acknowledge those that will be watching later. Thank you. All right, y'all. Real quick.
Let me talk to you.
All right, everybody. Let me talk to you for a second. And listen, I got to be perfectly honest with you. When I actually think about the whole narrative about Black women's hair, I don't really think much about it. Other than when I see like crazy wild ass hairstyles and I just sit there and I just kind of shake my head. It's like most of our women are walking around looking like Muppet babies now, or like these cartoon caricatures. And so, and as a Black man, I've had so many conversations with Black women about like how they present themselves and why they do what they do to themselves with their hair. So I have never really given much thought to if there's an issue or a plight or anything around, especially the hair with our Black women. And let me tell you something. I got a gang of sisters. I think it's in total 9. I got a gang of them, and one would think that I would be more astute on the issues with Black women hair, but I don't. I'm a dude, and it just doesn't really come across my mind other when I see something that I don't like. Now, historically, Black men have been, and I'm being very general here because we can't really be specific all the time and individualized, but very generally, Black men, when we're thinking about our woman's hair, we think about what we prefer. And in general, Black men prefer natural hair. Although that's not what we typically get from our ladies is natural hair. And one of the biggest fights that we tend to have sometimes is the fact that we would prefer our woman to have natural hair. But our ladies come and you ask them, it's like, hey, your dude want this. Your guys want this. Why don't you give them that? And typically a lot of times the responses we get is kind of like, well, you ain't got to do it. It's hard to do. And before like synthetic hair and weaves and stuff became like a major thing, women used to get up every day and do their own hair. A lot of my sisters and my cousins that's on, and some of the ladies that's on, they remember the hot pressing comb on Saturday morning or Sunday morning before church. You remember sitting there on the floor, on the pillow, getting that hair detangled with that big comb and the little comb and the rat tails and the green or blue grease. Everybody remember that. So to sit there to say that there's not enough time, when I actually grew up watching the not enough time and watching you sit and squirm, and maybe because as a guy we don't really go through that stuff a lot with that. So I just don't really understand why Texas or the Black women of Texas needed to pass a law for the hair. I don't really understand. But before we get there, hold on a second.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
Shout out to 3D Radio for the $10 super chat. As TLA said, let me see this. TLA, 3D Radio just sent me $10. What do you think about all of these wonderful super chats, TLA?
They are amazing.
Absolutely. They are amazing. Thank you, 3D Radio, for the $10 super sticker. As the lead attorney always say, no comment, no questions, just a pure love of the game. So thank you, 3D Radio, for the $10 super sticker. And every dime we get here gets reinvested back into the platform. So thank you for the contributions. And please don't feel like you don't, like we don't need it over here. We absolutely need it over here, especially when we're trying to grow the content. So thank you very much for that. I want to bring up one of my content creators, Miss Almanize, real quick. And Miss Almanize, let me move my camera over. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, let me move this over a little bit. All right. So why is it? Let me ask this question. So before we get like into like to the Crown Act, because I actually got to show the video for that. As let me try to get some understanding. So when black men, when you hear, first of all, do you hear black men talk about that they prefer natural hair from their women? Do you hear that consistently?
Absolutely. That's all I hear.
Okay. So my question is then, if that's all you hear, then why do you think that we don't typically get that from our women?
Well, I think if you just boil it down, it's part of the black woman's defiance. The whole, I don't need a man, I don't really care about what you think. I'm going to do me. It's my truth, this, that, and the fourth. So,
What
I
do
mean,
they mean by it's my truth? I don't even know what that means.
I'm just saying, you know how soon as they have a narrative that they want to go with, they say it's my truth to try to get you to not, ask more questions to try to understand what they're talking about. It's basically, you remember when you were a kid and your mom would be like, saying, you'd be like, well, mom, can I do such and such and such, such? And they'd be like, no. And you'd be like, why? And they'd be like, because I said so. It's that type of situation.
Is that type of situation? Okay.
Because they don't have a legitimate answer. It's just, this is what I'm going to do. And I don't really care what you have to say about it. So.
Real quick, before I'm going to bring up my Sexy is Strong, real quick, shout out to YouTube channel. Give us a little bit about you and shout out to YouTube channel.
All right. Hi guys. Anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Almanize78. I've really just kind of started in the YouTube game last couple of months. My channel's primarily about as we are discussing here, Black issues, particularly with Black females and what we can do to try to change the trajectory of what we've been doing for the last 50 years and try to repair some of the damage. Also, because sometimes that can get a little heavy. I take a small break from that and I do reviews on reality TV shows. But then I take those reviews and try to relate them back to what our main agenda is, and point out, even though a lot of things that are going on are predominantly in the Black community, they actually happen in other communities. But even though it's the same, it's different. So just as we know, TV can get ratchet sometimes. Just take a peek at that to try to lighten the mood up a little bit. But definitely, as a Black woman, I'm here trying to do my part and to try to create a new community, because the community that we grew up with, back when you went to your grandma, your grandpa's house, back in the country, and pick beans and what I'm saying, collard greens, and they grew tomatoes and all of that is pretty much gone. But what we have now is totally not acceptable. So I'm here to try to do my part to try to create a new community and see if we can salvage the youth, honestly, at this point.
All right, I'll be right back with you. Okay, let me grab Terry. Hey, Terry, my Sexy is Strong. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Give a quick shout out to your YouTube channel, what you do over there.
So the name of my YouTube channel is My Sexy is Strong. On my channel, I cook. As TJ said earlier, I'm a personal trainer, so I tend to make meals that are a little bit on the healthier side. However, even though they may be a little bit better for you, that does not mean they are lacking in flavor or being boring. So while I cook, I also discuss hot topics and different things concerning Black folks' lives. And then recently, I just started chopping up my live videos so that the recipe is available, adding them to my website. I also talk a lot about fitness and how we can be healthy.
Okay, so my question that I start out with Almanize with. So do you hear a lot of Black men talking specifically about that they prefer natural hair out of their lady?
Yes, I do hear Black men say they prefer natural hair, yes.
So then why don't we get it from our ladies, the natural hair?
I can't say we don't get it. I think it depends on the type of woman.
The type of woman.
I have natural hair. Mona has natural hair. I'm not sure about almond eyes. So there are women that are natural. However, there are a lot of women who wear weaves, who wear braids, who wear all type of things for whatever reason. So I really just think, because I'm around a lot of women, it really just depends on your environment. You can go to DC and most of the women are natural. You can go to Detroit, most of them weaved up. Like, it really just kind of depends on the type of black woman that you're getting. That's going to determine the type of hairstyle she got. It's not across the board everybody wearing inches, because I ain't never wore a 50-inch weave. So
you say it depends on the region you are, depending on you're going to get a natural woman or a weaved up woman.
Yeah, I went to a HBCU, and it was definitely the patterns based on where people were living, where they were from. You would see a difference in the type of hairstyles that they were rocking. A lot of girls on the West Coast, they wore their hair braids. They wore natural hair. Sometimes a lot of girls in New York were rocking braids, rocking natural hair. A lot of girls on the East Coast as well, rocking locks. Like, I remember in college was the first time I've seen a lot of women wearing locks on the HBCU campus. So it really just depends on where you at. Like Mona said in the chat, facts. In Detroit, you're going to get weaved up. In Cleveland, weaved up. St. Louis, weaved up. It's just a different part of it. Really depends on where you at.
But Terry, listen, I hear you. I hear that. I promise you, I hear that. But my question is, then okay, if I take what you say at face value, then why is there the volume from the men coming out about women having natural hair? Because if I'm listening to you correctly, it seems to me that the natural hair women outnumber the weave women, but that's not what
I said. That's what you want to hear. That's not
what
I said.
I'm telling you, that's what I heard.
That's what you heard, but that's not what I said, baby. It really just depends on where you at. Like, I mean, someone says disingenuous answer. I'm sorry, but like, it just depends on what I'm seeing. Maybe I'm in the wrong place, so I don't see weaved up women 24/7. Do I see weaved up women? Absolutely, on social media every day, all day. That's where I see the most weaved up women. But
on social media?
Yes, on social media. I see weaved up women all the time, but I also follow a lot of baldy channels, and I follow a lot of natural hair stuff. So it really just depends. A lot of women who wear weaves, to be honest, is for a variety of reasons. You got women who really hate their natural hair, unfortunately. That is a fact. That is a truth. You got women who wear weaves and wigs because it's easier depending on their lifestyle. I'm in fitness. I'm gonna keep it real. If it wasn't for the fact that I keep my hair short because I work out a lot. If I had a long hair and had to do my hair all the time, I'd probably be lazy with my workouts, because the amount of effort it takes to do your hair and working out, sweating every day.
There we go. There we go. The amount of effort.
You supposed to do it then. You a hairdresser?
Look, Terry, I'm for to drop you down real quick, because I'm gonna bring up one of my sisters, my actual sister, and she has natural hair. She ain't always had natural hair. Don't be looking at me. I'm looking at her in the background. She gives me this look. So I'll be back right with you, okay, Terry? I want to talk to my sister a little bit, all right? All right. Hey, sis.
What's up, TJ?
Are you you there with your mama now?
No, I'm at home. That's
you at home? Oh yeah, okay. Well, when you look, your couch look like okay.
I get my style from my mama.
You get your style from your mama. So okay, sis. Now you have had so right now you're locked up. What does that call? Sister locks? What is that? What you got?
Nope.
What do you want?
Either locks. I've been locked for 4.5 years.
You ain't been locking for no 4 years.
Yeah. I'll hit 5 in March.
Oh man, I ain't been. I thought maybe this happened like 6 months ago. So I don't. I don't. Why did you decide to go natural? Is this a permanent thing for you, or is this?
I don't know. Hair, it's how I feel. I got tired of weave, tired of sitting down for braids, tired of combing my hair, and I just like to try something different. So I went with locks.
But don't that weave and stuff like snatch your hairline away, like make you bald, like George Jefferson?
Not everybody.
I see a whole lot of that when these girls need to, when they're in between hairdos and they actually got to come out with, and their hairline is far further back than mine, be like way back here, and I'm like,
mine never went back when I was doing weaves and all that. It stayed intact. It just depends on how you do your hair.
I guess. Do you care when a brother tells you that they prefer your natural hair? Oh, let me just ask you, what has been your response versus when you've had to weave versus what you got now from the fellas?
I mean, everybody loved the locks, but even when I had weave and all that, I mean, it was still in braids. So just a preference of the person's. But the locks have probably had the best result from people. The size of them, the color of them, all that good stuff.
The color. Okay. I'm just trying to get a baseline for our discussion. I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm gonna bring on my cousin Khadijah. All right. Hey there, Khadijah.
Hey TJ, how's it going?
Greetings from Atlanta.
Greetings from Atlanta.
Yeah. So now you we are of the same generation. I can't call you old. I'm old, but I can't call you old, but I'm old.
We are definitely of the same generation. And I feel as if it all depends on what your environment is, whether or not you like to rock the weaves, the natural hair, and things of that nature. Everything we was always told growing up that everything always repeats itself and come back in circles. Like in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, they were rocking their natural hair. Then we all as young girls growing up in my era, we all remember the pressing comb where they was pressing our hair out, and you didn't have a problem with it because they wasn't burning the back of your neck, they wasn't burning it off your ear, they wasn't hitting you upside the back of the head with a straightening comb because you didn't be.
No, we just smelt it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It kept walking through the house.
Absolutely, you smelt them frying our hair. And it all really just depends on the actual environment as to what you get. There are now women are actually going back to they want to be more natural. Some, not all. And you have a lot of women that says, yes, sister locks happens to be a style now. Locks happens to be a style now. So
okay,
people are going more natural.
For the uninformed brothers out here. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between like a regular lock and a sister lock? Like, I don't understand.
Sister locks happens to be like a micro lock. It's very small. And then regular locks, you have different sizes. They're not very small, but they're medium, and then they can go and get bigger. But sister locks happens to be very fine and very small in size, not in length.
Okay. All right, let me bring one of my sisters back up, okay?
Sure.
No, actually, I'm going to keep you up with her. Hold on a second. Hey, Mo.
Hello.
Hey, so I have a question, more of a question / statement kind of a thing. So I heard somebody say, and there's no empirical data on this. So I'm just going to say what he said. The brother said that marital rates, as the usage of weave went up, marital rates in black community have went down. Do you think that black men are so turned off by the weave that we decided not to marry y'all because of the weave and the fake hair?
No, I think that's an excuse.
Excuse for what?
Not to marry. If anybody uses anything that's base level, such as appearance, that's an excuse.
Well, Monet, now men are initially very visual minded when we're looking at when we're mate seeking. We're very visual. You know what I mean? So I don't know how fair that is to call it superficial, but I don't. Huh?
Looks fade.
Well, of course, we understand that. I mean, looks doesn't sustain a relationship, but that's exactly. I mean, I guess to a degree for women too. I mean, looks is important, but I don't think y'all understand just how much it drives the male species.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. I'm trying to get a little bit of an education, especially. I don't think most guys, especially black men, really pay that much attention to if there's a hair issue or not. I don't really know, but I know I don't, because I remember when I first heard about this Crown Act law, I was like, that's a thing? Like, that's really a thing? And I really didn't, and then I dismissed it in the same breath. because I didn't think it was a thing. For me, my impression when I heard about the passage of the law, my initial unfiltered response was, why was that even necessary? And maybe that's a ignorant, uninformed way of looking at it. But I think I cannot be like the only dude out here, the only brother out here that when you hear about issues regarding Black women here, that we're very dismissive of it. Is that a fair statement, do you think?
It's your valid.
Huh?
Yeah, it's a valid statement.
Yeah, okay. I actually got a hairdresser, so I'm gonna bring her up and talk to her for a second, okay? All right. I'll be right back with you, Khadijah. Oh, yes, go ahead.
I have a question for you. When men say that they prefer natural hair, a lot of times the culture, what moves women and what women do typically depends upon what they see men like or what their impression is of what men like. And the women that you typically gravitate to or think that is fine and thinks that is sexy happens to be superficial, as we relate to having, like, a lot of men think Beyonce is the drop dead gorgeous beautiful thing walking alive inside of our community. Well, in order for a Black woman to get Beyonce's look, they're going to go out there and buy that 27-inch, 50-inch, whatever blonde weave and slap it on her head in order for her to be the Beyonce for you. And it also depends on what happens to be your actual music. What is the music that you're listening to? If you're listening to music, if you're listening to rap, and if that's the culture that is out there, then long weave and things of that nature, body implants, body mutilations, that's the type of women that you're going to get, because that's the environment that you're
I think the thing that I think our ladies often misrepresent is what we will lay up with and what we will keep. That those are
that's a conversation that needs to be had, because of the fact that, yes, a lot of women do not understand the difference between what you guys think is great for you guys to lay up with, and the difference between what you're willing to lay up with and the wife that you have at home. Because the wife that you have at home is one way, but the prostitute or the mistress that you got on the street is something totally different. And because of the fact that you have this wife at home and she's trying to keep you because she got 5 or 6 kids at home and she needs your income, she goes out in order to try to emulate the mistress that you have in the streets, in order to make and pretend that, in order for her to think in which that the man is going to be faithful and come home to her every night.
Okay, let me bring up the hairstylist real quick. All right, hey Flo.
Hey TJ.
So you do hair for a living, right?
Yes, I do.
So why is it that sisters are so insistent on this synthetic? I'm pretty sure you had conversations with them in the chair and stuff like that. Like, why are they doing this when they know brothers don't like it?
Well, to be honest, it's hard to pinpoint what men don't like. Just like how you got a Barbie doll. Wait, TJ. Just like how you got a Barbie doll, you got a Ken doll. You know, so we love to dress up. Looking the same every day is boring. You know, it's just boring. So for self-esteem and to make ourselves look good and feel good, we like to change up. It's just, you know, it's just something a part of not being boring. You know,
we want you to be boring.
We don't, though. Sometimes it's about how. It's about how you as the individual feel. So sorry to say, but we want.
I mean, if you trying to keep your dude, if your dude like your see that look for him ain't boring. That's what he like.
But it's boring to us. It's about how we feel about.
So it's all about you.
No,
it's not about the collective.
No, at the same time, you got to deal with self. When you decide to look the way you look, is because that's the way you want to look, and we got to accept you for that. You're going to have to accept us for who we want to look like, because we don't want to be boring. You know, it's just we just don't want to be boring, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just fashion. You know, it's just what makes the world go round. It's just fashion.
I guess so. I'll be back with you. I'm going to get my sexy and strong in here for a minute, because I see her going off. Hold on a second. Terry, why are you over there doing? You over here doing the most? What's going on, Terry?
I'm not doing the most. I'm just laughing at you.
Why are you laughing at me?
Because your commentary on everybody's responses it's funny.
Oh, come on now. All right, let me get into this Crown Act. So the overarching thing with the Crown Act that kind of surprised me was that I didn't know that this was a thing. So let's take a look at the Crown Act and then we'll get into that, okay? All right, let me see. Let me go right here.
Well, hair discrimination in the workplace and in school will be no more as the Crown Act is now officially law beginning today in Texas.
6 News reporter Adriana Alexander visited a local hair salon where they had a discussion about race-based discrimination. Adriana?
Chris Lindsay, time and time again, we have seen stories across the country about employees being fired or students kicked out of school because of their hair. Well, now, thanks to this new bill, people who do this will face legal consequences. Crown.
All of our hair is different and we all want different things.
An acronym for creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. This is what House Bill 567 is hoping to do in the state of Texas. State Board Education member Aisha Davis explained how long it took for the Crown Act to become law.
It was years of advocacy, talking to different groups, talking to different legislators, making sure our schools understood the possibility of not having hair discrimination.
The Crown Act prohibits race-based hair discrimination, which is the denial of employment, housing, and educational opportunities because of hair texture or protective hairstyles. The bill specifically mentions braids, twists, and locks.
It's distracting when somebody gets pulled out of class because of their hair. That is the distracting part.
Over in Killeen at Raquel's Beauty Salon, hair discrimination was a part of the discussion. And Melissa Harris and her daughter had no reluctance getting their hair done in the styles they wanted.
I don't want her to feel less of a person because, you know, she's wearing a different color or her hair is a different texture.
Everybody has to take care of their hair different. So discrimination basically just puts people in a spot where they feel like they're not good enough.
Like many others, Davis hopes this bill will enhance inclusion and understanding for the younger generations across the state and the country.
This bill is monumental in making sure that every student can be their true, authentic selves without having to worry about being disciplined for it.
Now, Texas is the 22nd state to pass the Crown Act in the United States. Guys, this is such a monumental point for people that have the hairstyles that they want to wear.
Yes, certainly is a historic day, and looks like there's a lot more states that might be considering the Crown Act too. Adriana, thanks so much.
Okay.
So, okay, I just learned something. I did not know that there were 21 other states that had this law. Let's see, Terry. Did you know that?
Yes, I knew that.
See, I'm just going by. We really don't know. But hold on. Let me do this. So here's what I heard. Okay. So and I'm prefacing it that way. Here's what I heard by listening to that Crown Act. That as I'm listening to it, okay. As I'm listening to it, all I'm hearing is our women don't want to conform to the owners of the company or agency's dress policy. That's all I hear. So what am I missing? What am I missing?
First of all, you have to recognize the background of why the Crown Act was even a thing. It wasn't about somebody was mad about a dress code. They don't want to conform. A lot of it came from the school districts. School districts either suspending or sending kids home for braids and locks. There have been little boys and little girls. There was a little boy, 2 boys in Texas. I can actually drop the link in the chat. In Texas, they were suspended. They felt like they were suspended from school because of their locks. You have to read the story to get the full description. There was even a little boy that was forced to cut his locks off on the sports team. So they were making a big deal about people with braids and locks and things of that nature. And then it just started to be a nuisance. It was, again, more so in schools, not necessarily just in professional environments, but there have been situations in professional environments. I actually saw an article today about a Dallas police officer who wears braids, who was talking to the press about this Crown Act and happy that it happened because I guess he was getting flack because he wore braids in his head. So that's really where it comes from. A lot of these policies literally target Black people because it's literally specifically our styles that we wear for our natural hairs, bantu knots, locks, braids, things of that nature. Our hair does not grow out of our head straight. It definitely don't lay down without a lot of manipulation. We're not talking about long weaves with 24-inch with purple and yellow and gold. We're not talking about that. We're literally talking about natural hairstyles that have been deemed not professional. Like what's unprofessional about a woman wearing braids? Like it is what it is. Now, is it somebody coming unkept and the hair all over the head and looking crazy? That's one thing. Being in an environment where you cooking, you around food, and you don't have your hair pinned up. You know, some places they don't want a lot of hair, so you either gonna have to wear your hair pinned up in a hat. You can't work there if you got a lot of hair because that can be a safety issue. Same with nails and things of that nature. But we literally talking about kids and grown people being asked to change their hair. It's not violating any laws. It's not preventing them from doing any jobs or being on a sports team. It's literally to target them because they're not conforming to the environment that they're in. And the environment that they're in is white. It's ran by white people. That's a fact.
I trust, I understand that, but it comes across. Hold on a second. Let me bring Khadijah up here. Let me see. I gotta figure out this. Yeah. So it comes across a little bit to me that there's this epidemic that a lot of us are just like sleeping through. Like there's this epidemic of hair discrimination and people not getting jobs or being fired from jobs or kicked out. It for me, and maybe I'm just playing the role of devil's advocate. It seems a little bit of like this is selective issues that we're making an issue. And for me, to a degree, I'm thinking we got bigger fights to fight than me trying to get a law about this. How does this law help us? Khadijah?
So, go ahead.
Hold on.
Well, how does it help you? Well, if you happen to be, we're talking about Texas, if you happens to be a student and you have gone to school from K through the 12th grade and you're a great student, you have all the requirements in order to graduate, you have never been in trouble, and then the school board tells you that just because of the fact that you happen to have dreadlocks, that you cannot participate in prom and you cannot participate in graduation. You cannot walk down the aisle with your friends. You cannot walk down the aisle with your class because your hair is inappropriate. Can you explain to me how do one digest that? And so that is definitely a problem. And that wasn't a woman's issue. That was a young Black man's issue, male's issue. So that's one thing. And Texas has 684,000 Black students, and they are giving ISS in school suspension out like candy. They said that last year, there was 195,000 Black students that was in school suspension because of the fact that their hair violated the school policy in Texas.
See, I'm not trying to be like the asshole, but I'm thinking about like I'm sitting here thinking about our collective joint issues that are more pressing, and we put a lot of energy into this. And for me, I'm going to repeat this. It just seems like that we took a couple isolated incidences with things with hair, and we decided to go. It seemed to me to be like this issue was like low-hanging fruit, and it seemed like it was something easy for the legislators to give us to shut us up when there's actually bigger issues.
Well,
So,
it's not a situation of one thing. It's a situation of we got to attack it all. You know, we have so many vast problems, or I should not say problems, but so many vast issues inside of our community in which that we're dealing with. We can't just say that, hey, we're going to put this particular issue on the back burner and we're going to deal with everything else. So it might be low-hanging fruit, but hey, if this low-hanging fruit is something that we can get accomplished because of the hype that is going on, then we need to attack that, get that accomplished, move that to the side so we have enough energy to attack something else. So that issue is no longer available. That issue has been taken care of. Now we can go out and tackle something else because that has been dealt with. But for Texas to say that out of 168,000 students, 684,000 students, 195 of them violate their codes because of the fact that they're not doing something, they're not in compliance because they wear black hairstyles, then that's the issue, and that's a problem in Texas.
And I know we're just talking about, we're only looking at one isolated news story out of Texas, but they didn't make this an issue about, I know, but they didn't make this an issue about schools. They made this an issue about Black women and how they want to appear on the job. So
No,
this,
I think
it
literally was about schools. Like that. That's the thing. Like it wasn't about Black women. I think that's what your perception is, but the reality of the situation is, it was mainly a school issue. They were literally telling children, you can't do this, you can't do that, because they had locks and braids. I'm not even talking about extreme.
The story or the issue.
Multiple situations were occurring like that, and so it became an issue. Typically, and I've been seeing that issue here in Arizona, where they're trying to tell kids they can't wear locks and braids and stuff to school. How are locks and braids preventing you from being able to do your schoolwork? Like this is what I'm saying. Like, we're trying to make this a Black woman issue, but in real life, this came about because of children at school, boys and girls. A lot of times it was boys. A lot of times it was boys being targeted because they had locks or braids. And wearing your hair is something about a freedom of expression. Like, it's, as long as it's not offending nobody, hurting nobody, causing any safety issues, what is the problem? And we not about to make this like, oh, Black women not trying to comply, when it wasn't even the wheelhouse that got it going was Black women, but the issue started being at schools, Black mothers maybe complaining, going to the school board, they not getting hurt, and the issue took off. Furthermore, we know state Congress and state legislatures, they handle multiple bills at the same time. So in addition to passing a hair bill, they can pass something about the police structure. Like, it's not like it's just one issue at a time. That's not how government works. So, but I do feel, and I will say this before I stop talking, I do feel that there is a performative nature to bills like this. I won't deny that. Like, yes, they tend to give us things that are considered what you consider low-hanging fruit, but it doesn't mean it's any less of an issue. I'm sorry, my daughter has locks. You're not about to tell me my daughter can't go to school just because she has locks. Like, that's ridiculous. She's not a bad kid. She's actually a good kid. The teachers love her. So why are you, it's literally a race thing. It is a race thing. Unfortunately, we live in the United States of America that is racist. And so there are going to be issues that are specific to race. It's not a Black woman issue. It's literally a Black issue. And it's benefiting Black women and Black men. That's all it is.
I hear that. And I do recall the young man that was on the wrestling team, Black boy on a wrestling team, and literally they cut his dreads off in the middle of the mat. I remember that story, but I did not. I mean, I'm just telling. I'm not sure how many other Black men are keenly aware of that this is an issue. You know what I mean? And for a lot of us, especially, well, here's the thing. Especially since we're about to walk into another presidential cycle, and especially since the so-called Black Party, which is the Democratic Party, they're losing their Black men voters. They're right now, Trump has a 20% favorable rate amongst Black men. So I'm thinking about a few things. I'm thinking about, where we need to spend our energy. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there are not issues with our hair and our texture and things that are related to, American Black culture, that there always seem to be some pushback. I said earlier this week, when I was covering the incident with the girl being deleted by the police officer at the grocery store, you know, there's when it comes to us, there's always some extra special sauce on stuff. But I also want to be very, I'm thinking that we need to be very targeted about the things that we fight for and stop accepting low-hanging fruit as a victory. And that's what this seems to me, that we were offered this thing that I'm not sure on the scale of the issues that we got is really a big issue. Or am I just being crazy?
You are
absolutely a little combative, but that's your nature.
Crazy.
Did you say I'm being combative? Really?
Yes.
Who said I was absolutely being crazy? Crazy. Was that you, Candace?
Yes.
Why?
No, I agree. I agree with you.
I agree too.
We weren't about Daquan's dreadlocks, but Daquan can't read. Daquan can't count to 10.
Exactly.
That's what we need to be talking about, not Daquan's dreadlocks that his mama made him grow. No,
Yes.
we need to be worried about Daquan being able to read. Is what we need to be talking about.
There, I think we're being.
That ain't dramatic. That's real. Little black boys rarely read above a 4th grade level.
But you also shouldn't kick them out from learning how to read just because they have locks.
Well, you're supposed to know how to read before you go to school, though.
Okay, actually, you learn how to read at school.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay.
Your hair is the least of your issue when it comes down to that should be the most minute thing we should
but it's
worry
been made
about.
an issue. That's the thing.
You
like
know,
that's why
they making this an issue as if we're gonna wear our hair the way we want to hair, whether they like it or not. We have to, because we all have different types of hair. We got to work with what work with us, and we cannot just always look the same. So we want to be versatile. We're gonna do different things. You know, men wear fades, men wear braids, men wear all kinds of perms. You know, we just like to be creative as people. But for you to kick my child out of school because of any type of hairdo, it's inhumane, unethical.
Right, but if you know the rules going in, then and you choose not to follow them, then you're making a conscious decision, and you gotta take the blowback. Because it's not like they just showed up one day and they was like, "Oh no, you can't have these dreads. You gotta go." These people knew.
Who gives them the right to say what somebody's supposed to wear? Though it's only hair.
I mean, rules are rules. Like the company I work for, black, white, green, purple. Do not show up with dreadlocks. Do not show up with green hair. Do not show up with yellow wigs. Do not show up with anything that could be considered, you know what I'm saying, distracting. So I've seen white men get their dreads cut. I've seen black men get their dreads cut. I've seen sister girls have to take off their pink wig they try to come to work in. You either conform so you can get your check, or do what you want to do and make some other arrangements.
So we all should be the same. Everybody should be same color, the same weight. Like, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like,
no, I mean, but if you look, most black women, especially social media, they all look the same anyway. They all cookie cutter. So on one end, you can't all be trying to look the same, and then on the other end, holler about we all different. Y'all got to pick a struggle.
All right, hold on a second. Khadijah, hold on a second. Go ahead, Terry. Go ahead and finish your point. And then I don't
have a point. I was just responding to what she was saying. I feel like this is so convoluted. It's not even funny. Like,
I mean, it is.
It's very simple. The reason why it even became an issue, like I said before, was literally because of children at school. Like, and we're not talking about it. And a lot of the rules were literally to target a lot of these rules. If you look at the school district that these were happening in, this wasn't even traditional black district. A lot of these districts were suburban districts, and they knew the rules. They knew how to set the rules so that it would be like, oh, it's a target towards black kids. And you got a kid. I mean, come on now. It's already an issue for our kids to be in school. We got the school to prison pipeline, all this kind of stuff. You want to talk issues and talk black kids. It's a lot of targets for black boys on their backs in schools. And I've been to school board meetings where those things are happening. But we have all these issues, and you want to be complaining because a boy want to wear dreadlocks and you want to cut them off.
Well, see, you talking about targets being on their back. They mamas put the first target on their back by not marrying their daddy before they have them.
Look,
that's the first target. So you already got the deck stacked against you. So why make it harder is what I'm saying. And if you're talking, I think somebody said something about
money making is my thing, because I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes
All right, shout out to Maggie, the substitute teacher, for the $5 super chat, just stopping through, showing some support for the conversation. Thank you, Maggie. Maggie is another content creator. She does a cooking show. She's actually out in California now. She went out to California for some kind of YouTube party. I mean,
Shout
I
out to
must be
Maggie.
right. Shout out to Maggie out there, getting out there, networking, growing her channel, and boy, she all over. She going to the. She has a cruise booked. A meet and greet cruise she got booked for coming up on her. Is it November or is it this month? I can't remember.
It's November. It's right after
November.
Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. Shout out to Eric Jordan for the $5 super chat. Keep on cooking, Real Bravado Network. I'm trying, and I'm about to get overrun by these ladies. Boy, what was I thinking? That was the little drop for the $5 for both the ladies there, here and there. Let me be perfect. Let me go back to something real quick. One of the things I want to go back to that somebody talked about was the grade, the reading level. The average high school black male student, that's going into a senior year, reads at a 4th grade reading level. To Almanize's point, most of our education and learning should come within the home. And we know that's not happening at the rate that it needs to happen at. Yes, schools, they're there designed to teach, but the reinforcement of the lessons need to be done in the home. And so if it wasn't for, very rarely I tell my story, but I wasn't, I was from about, what age you are when you're in kindergarten? You're about what?
5, 6.
Yeah, 5.
From about kindergarten till about, I think it was 3rd grade. I was out of school from kindergarten to 3rd grade because I was sickly. I was in the hospital, so I wasn't there. So by the time I got to 3rd grade, I was illiterate. I couldn't read or write. Didn't know my name, recognize my name. None of that happened. And so, and I think at the time my grandmother was so focused on my health that those things went by the wayside. And when we got in there, when I got back into school, and within a week I got put back a grade because I couldn't read, write, add, subtract, none of that crap I could do. It became all hands on deck at home to get me caught up. I mean, she literally had to do, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd grade in a year with me. So the work is to be done at home, but then you actually have to have somebody in the home that's willing to do that. And we all know what's going on right now, with a lot of our kids. Hold on a second, Khadijah.
Money making is my thing, cause I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right. Shout out to I gotta hit him with it. All right. Craig Lamar with the $5 super chat. I agree. The rules are set by the company and they reserve the right to set a standard. I want you guys to react to this, but go ahead, Khadijah, first. What you were gonna say?
We can't perpetuate the narrative that the majority of Black fathers is not present and not inside of the home. Yes, there is a percentage of Black families that are ran by single Black females, but there are Black men that are present as well.
Oh, no. That CDC study came out last year that Oprah a few months ago had to get on her national platform and choke down a half-witted apology about Black men and Black fatherhood that she helped perpetuate over the last 30 years. Yeah, Black men are the most involved fathers of any other race, and that was done by was it a 20 or 30 year study that the CDC did. So yeah, this narrative that fathers ain't doing their thing is some bullshit. Go ahead.
I wanted to say this. Why I say a lot of this stuff be nonsense, because I go to a teacher parent conference and you tell me you don't teach spelling, the fundamental of knowing how to read. You don't teach it, but you worrying about the style on my child head. But you're not teaching fundamental things to make a child be able to learn, but you passing policies about hairstyle is just a bunch of nonsense when it boils down to it, to me.
Well,
you know,
that goes.
they don't even teach spelling. How you not teach spelling in a school that you forced me to send my
Well, see,
child?
that's the school district and the school board. That's not the teacher. The teachers
That
have like
goes.
a notebook, and this is what you have to teach. This is what you can't teach. You can't talk
All
about
of
this.
this
You
come
can't do
down
that.
from the
So
school
that
board,
comes back.
not the
Right, but the
teacher.
parents need to be there to fight
They
some of
have to
this.
be at the parent teachers conference. We can't
No, they
sit
need
up
to be at
here
the
and
school board meeting.
complain.
Forget by the time you get to the
They
conference,
have
it's
to go to the
late.
school. They have to be at the school board meeting as well. But we
Mm-hmm.
can't just say that we're sending our children into a district or we're sending our children to school and we're not hands-on parents. We have to show up to parent-teacher conferences. We have to show up to the school board district. We got to get out there and raise hell, because when they're out there, going out there telling you that they're voting on policies, if you're not available, if you are not there, if you are absent, we can't complain about the laws that come down the pipeline when you never showed up in the first place to say, hey, that law is going to affect
I
you.
go to them and I
I'm
say,
not talking about you specifically. I'm just talking about people in general.
In general,
we can't
and
go on the back
one person ain't gonna make a difference
if
we don't come up in.
So we had the opportunity to change it when it first came out there to hit the board. When we was at the superintendent's office raising hell because of the fact that that would absolutely affect our little Black children or what have you, then guess what? If you are not a hands-on parent, if you are not teaching your child how to read, yes, they get some form of an education at school, but for the most part, the education comes from you. You have to teach your own child. You have to teach your child how to read.
But when you are making it a law for my kids to spend how many times in school for you to teach them?
Anybody's school, that is your responsibility.
Yeah. Hey, Flo, real quick before you cook, you do not have to send your kids to public school. You can actually homeschool them. That's
what I'm gonna do, because these schools are not teaching your kids like you think. They force you to send your kids to school. It's almost like if your child is sick and they can't come to school, they call you like they want to threaten you about your child not being in school. But in all reality, I think it's like a holding ground. They don't teach them nothing at all. You don't teach my
I agree with that.
But you forcing me to say, you making it a law for my kid to come to your school, but you're not teaching them nothing, So I'm talking about their responsibility and what you open this type of system to do. You're not a blind by it, but you worrying about my child and his hairstyle. You will kick them out of school for that, but you're not even teaching them spelling, is my point. So for me, this is a bunch of nonsense at the end of the day.
It also boils down to the person or the individual that you are. Yes, and this act actually stimulated from Black boys, and yes, mothers are raising hell, parents are raising hell. On the first defense, you're going to see a woman out there raising hell about their child. You're not going to discriminate my child. You do not have the right to cut my child's ear off or anything like that. And second of all, you can't tell me or you can't dictate what God actually grows outside of a person's head. And because of the fact that hair is grown outside of the person's head, it might not be in the way in which you are accustomed to. And since it's not in a format or in a manner in which that you are accustomed to, because as Black or melanated or whatever you want to call yourselves today, our hair don't come straight. It comes in all different textures, different styles, different colors, and things of that nature. So therefore, the actual laws and structures that quote unquote white people have in place for them and their people, that does not apply to other races and other people, because of the fact that we're not governed like that. God didn't make us all the same. So with this act, you have to embrace everybody's individuality.
Yes.
And when we can embrace everybody's individuality, that's when you can say, okay, yes, we're going to put this on the back burner and work on something else. A lot of times what we have and what we deal with, especially going into political seasons, they give us a lot of symbolisms in order to shut us up. That's because of the fact that over these past 400 years, we have accepted symbolism and said, okay, because of the fact that Bill Clinton can play a saxophone and he has mistresses that happens to be black, that Bill Clinton is black. Because of the fact, but Bill Clinton doesn't have to give us any substance. Because of the fact that Hillary Clinton states that because of the fact that somebody in her camp said, Beyonce said, hey, I got hot sauce in my bag, and Hillary Clinton shows up on Roland Martin with hot sauce in her bag, guess what? She's black. So therefore, we're on the bandwagon of Hillary Clinton. Guess what? Because of the fact that Barack Obama happens to be black, yes, I did, and Michelle and their children are black, and this is a cookie color black looking family, we're going to be on that bandwagon because of the fact that they look good for us. Because of the fact that Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president, so therefore we linked Joe Biden to Barack Obama. And because of the fact that Kamala Harris stated that she was a black woman, but Indian is not black, and she went to a SBCU, a HBCU, we linked that up and said, hey, you know what? She's black. And he was attached to Barack Obama. So therefore, we're going to vote for them because they look, those are all symbolism. But as you can actually see today, we have more issues than we ever had because of the fact that those were just symbolisms. They look good to the black community, but they have not done a darn thing for us. They have actually hurt us more than they helped us.
So are you saying? So hold on. So hold on. Here's a quick question. So you're saying the Crown Act is nothing more than symbolism?
I'm saying that a lot of times we are given symbolisms because of the fact that we're going to get symbolisms in order to appease us. Now, the Crown Act is absolutely needed because if they're discriminating against our black children and our black children are being denied access to graduate with their class, our black children are being denied being able to go to prom, our black children are being made a mockery of because a white teacher can go and cut off their hair. That is a problem because if they had the right black parent, when you touch my black child, this black mama would have been in school, and I don't care. They would have had to have the police force and everybody else on deck because I was coming. So that means that yes, this is absolutely needed because somebody was going to happen to stop me from going to jail that day. So that was definitely needed. So yes, this is symbolism. Yes, this is the small victory that is needed. But guess what? We have so much more work to do, and we have to stop saying that we accept symbolism as a whole and move forward. But when we can have small victories, we need to celebrate that so that we can have the strength to move on to something more better and bigger.
So y'all really think
I will say this.
They're doing that? These rednecks still gonna come in there with a pair of scissors when they feel like it to cut their hair off. So yeah, and go do what? Say a $300 fine and keep on trucking. That's all that's gonna happen.
It's easy to make policy that suits them when all of their hair come out the same way, flat. Our hair comes out different. So of course the policies, they can set that stage to oblige them because they don't have our issues. It comes out flat. All comes out the same. So
go ahead, Terry.
So I hear a lot of people talking about like what symbolism and whatever. Like I said earlier, that there is a level of performativeness. I don't know. I'm probably saying the word wrong, but there is a level. This law, this bill, whatever, the Crown Act, it is performative. We have to admit that two things can be true at the same time. Actually, multiple things can be true at the same time. We know that. So yes, there is a level of performative acts that they've done so that the Crown Act is even a thing. Just like when during Black Lives Matter, they painted the streets. We know that. But we also know that there are children, various states across the country, boys and girls that are being denied silly things because of their hairstyles that are very specific to traditional hairstyles for Black people with natural hair. And it's not hurting nobody. So why is this even a thing? The good thing about it is this whole act shows us actually how government works. if you're really that concerned about what things aren't going on in your community and what things that need to be changed, use the same process that they use. Make a ruckus, go to a congressman, a senator, have them sponsor the bill and get it passed. That's how government works. And
don't you learn that in school?
Don't forget to take the money with you because you gotta have money with you.
That's
Go
literally
ahead,
how
Monet.
government works. And so if you want to see change, then like you got to go to school board meetings. You can go to they allow the public to come to like the meetings when they have legislation. Like I hear a lot of people talking about what folks ain't doing. Okay, cool. Like these people over here, they may be concerned about hair. I might be concerned about what's actually being taught in the school district. Like all of these things could be going on at the same time. It's however many millions of Black people in this country. Everybody don't have to be focused on the one issue. Like we can't sit here. That's so one-track minded and so narrow-minded to think that you can't do multiple things at the same time. Anybody on this panel who have kids know that you can't just do one thing at one time. You multitask. That's how humans are. That's what if you have a real job working in corporate America, you most likely multitask at some point during the day. So like to try to make it seem like, oh, people so much concerned about hair and they're not concerned about that. There are people that are concerned about the little boys and how they're reading. There are organizations across the country. You might not know about it because you ain't involved with it, but there are lots of organizations across the country that are working with little boys, mentoring little boys so that they actually can learn how to read. Some of these things are happening in the Blackest cities in the country. I'm talking Baltimore. I'm talking Philadelphia. I'm talking Memphis. Like there are things that are happening, but we never hear about it because it's more exciting to hear about bullshit on the internet. It's more
bullshit. That's what it boils down to. Nonsense.
Hold on. All right, guys, give me a second here.
Money making is my thing because I'm trying to be rich, trying to put away meals.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the
All right, shout out again to Eric Jordan for the $3 super sticker. And then he hit us back again with a $2 super chat. So that means Eric Jordan just gave There you go. Eric Jordan with the $5. I mean, you know, I don't do that, but I like the song. It's one of the best hip hop songs ever made. Yeah, Terry, you know, you've heard me say on multiple times on my streams, two things can be, that's one of my favorite sayings, two things can be true. You could have, and it can be, and I actually said it this week, you got a quarter and it has a heads and a tail side, but it's still a quarter, you know, so two things can definitely be true. But one of the things that I think that we get so focused on is the symbolism and like it's a win. And if you did not notice, the Crown Act, they did it on a state level, which means it's on a local level. Most things that affect us,
things are past that affect us every day.
No, isn't that? Wait a minute. I think the original Crown Act, where it came from, that's on a federal level. Am I wrong?
No,
you don't have a national Crown Act.
State, and that's generally how things are passed, so that things that are going to actually affect us day to day. That's typically how things are passed. One of the reasons why they decided to do away with Roe v. Wade, they said give it to the state so the state can determine it. Like that's the way that things are ran in this country. Run this country like we have 50 different countries as opposed to one federal government. So like the local thing is just it's gonna be a local thing.
Yeah, the local thing is actually the most important thing you could do. I know we always get all worked up about the presidential election. Actually, the things that happens in your city affect you way more than what on the state level, and the state level affects you more than what happens on the national level. That's just kind of where it's at. But
yeah,
I'm just
saying that's where the name came from, was from the federal bill that passed last year.
Oh, okay. What'd you say, Khadijah?
Your state politicians is the one that actually elects your president. They're your electoral college. The problem is that we just don't. A problem is that as in general, as American people, we're not so excited inside of our state level, and we don't go out there and we don't think that that's an issue, and we don't go out there and heavily vote for our local and state politicians because, hey, in the next 4 years or every election time come along, guess what? We're the popular vote and they're the electoral college votes, and that electoral college is the ones that's going to vote for your president.
Yeah,
Okay, government 101.
I wanted to address this issue. One, because I've been dealing with lady stuff, most of the stuff that impact women all week long, and I thought this would be a nice conclusion to my Women's Week. But also for me and maybe some of the guys that's listening, and maybe a lot of times on these platforms, the guys we're very demonstrative and we're trying to direct the thing. But I thought this was a good one, even though I gave pushback on this. It's also to learn, as if we can't learn from the ladies, because this is a part of I would call blackness that I think black men are really not that in tune to. We're just not. And it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just not a thing. There are things about black men or issues that black men have to deal with that our women are not in tune to. That's just it. But when I believe that when we bring up those issues, that we don't do what I do often, and probably what a lot of guys do often, which is just dismiss it, because it doesn't really affect me that I know of, unless I guess I want to grow some dreads. I guess I don't know. And also the fact that I think more holistically about our issues. I'm not really caring about this, and I can't see it. And that's also a statement about being able to listen, because just because you can't see it, that doesn't mean that it's not there. But
and
I
also,
just hope,
to your point, it just because something doesn't necessarily affect you directly doesn't mean that it's not important. Like I mean, I don't want us to get too caught up into, like, if it's not about the masses and it's not important. Like, there are things that you encounter, you deal with every day on an everyday basis as a black man in America, like you said, that black women don't have to deal with. But that doesn't mean it's any less important. It's very important, because that's an issue that you face every single day of your life. So, like, we can't be so quick to dismiss something just because it's not our reality. Like, I mean, again, I do think that there is a level of performative nature when it comes to bills like this. I'm not going to lie about that. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's not important to somebody. It's not affecting somebody. Like, and if it's affecting somebody, if it's keeping a kid from learning, if it's keeping somebody from doing a job that they're perfectly qualified to do, and it's not harming them in any type of way, not harming the company or anything, bringing shame, why is this an issue? Like, we revisit things all the time and recognize that, are we really benefiting from this being a rule? Maybe we need to rethink this. This is all that this is about. And sometimes you're going to get pushback. If you go to the school board and they don't pass something, and you know that, like, this is not something that just should be, this is the process that you go for. Like, this literally shows us how you can change things.
Yes.
We need to use this as an example and change some shit.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. You know what to say, sister.
Yep. Okay, guys. Let me see what we got left here. Did we just get another super chat in, or things are going? Yeah, here we go. All right, Mr. Eric Jordan again. If there are no tangible for black community, no vote. I don't know what you mean by that.
Absolutely.
We're talking about when it comes to politics. Like, if black people ain't, if they're not giving us something, we shouldn't vote for them. Absolutely.
But we should be asking for something. We should be asking for something. We ain't asking.
There are black people that are asking for things. There are
we
black
asked for
people that are working in the political scene on the progressive side that are actually.
We are not asking for stuff on the level of other people. People bringing money to the table.
The problem is, here's the thing that I have to say on that. Yes, tangible should be a request. The thing is, collectively, what is the ask? And I was always told that politicians are political whores. And with that being said, as a narrative or as a whole, black people have to come together in general and say, okay, first of all, what is the most powerful group of demographics that every politician goes to see every 4 years that want to be president? They go to APEX. Those are Jews. They do not. And guess what they do? They go over there. The apex tell them a list of things that they want done and what they want passed. And they're telling the president, after these bills are signed into order, this is how much money we're going to give you, whether you want it on your first year or you want it year 4. It doesn't matter to us. But until this is actually enacted into law, you're not going to get this pot of gold.
Right.
And the thing is, collectively as Black people, number one, what is the ask? Number two, how much money are we going to put up in order to say that, okay, this is what our ask is? And at the end of the day, once you do what we told you that we wanted you to do, this is how much money you're going to get. And if you don't do it, we're going to replace you with somebody else who will.
Right. So on this vein, guys, and we're going to kind of wrap it up. We're hitting that 90-minute. And I want to hit that hard and strong. I covered this the other day. We all have talked about at length on our platforms or various conversations or panels that we had about the impact of what the entitlement programs did to the Black family, the division of the Black family in the 1960s and moving forward. Guys, I want to give you guys a heads up. The next, I think the irreparable divide is about to happen, meaning they divided the family, but they didn't break us. But they divided the family. Now, we have to be aware that there's a full, I wouldn't say assault, but there's a full effort to divide Black men and Black women politically. Listen, I touched on this the other day, but not in great detail. But I'm going to end this with this conversation right here. 20% of Black men are supporting Donald Trump. Donald Trump, no other Republican, in the Republican that was popular amongst Black men before Donald Trump was George W. Bush, and I think he was at like 7 or 8% of black have a Black male vote, and Donald Trump is at 20% and climbing. And so I was talking to a sister about this the other day, and she said something that Stacey Abrams said that cost Stacey Abrams her election, which is I'm paraphrasing. Don't you guys know you're being used? And I'm going to tell our women this: when you use that argument, when you run up across a guy who's leaning towards voting Republican or voting for Donald Trump, what men are hearing, what Black men are hearing is, you think we're stupid, as if we don't know that they're using us. We know they're using us. I'm not saying we as in, I'm just kind of grouping us together. I'm not saying I'm going to be doing this. But understand something. If they are able to get 10 to 15% more of Black men vote in their camp, they will essentially have divested Black men politically and our interest away from Black women and the Black family. So I'm asking Black women, when you hear men, especially as we ramp up the political cycle, understand something. The reason why Donald Trump and the Republicans now, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, they're trying to run Ron DeSantis out of the presidential election because Ron DeSantis is playing the fucking race card and he's pandering. But the Republican machine, they're coming after the Black male vote. They're trying to replace their right wing racist neo-Nazi party with Black men, and they're going to do it. The reason why they're going to be able to do it is because they're doing something very simple. They're not giving Black men anything. They're just listening to them. Sometimes we forget how powerful listening can be. Even though politically Black women control the quote-unquote Democratic machine politically, when you separate, if they're able to peel off 30% of Black men from the Democratic Party, we're done. As far as like having as a block of influence, no one's going to win without that. So I just want to, you guys can.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, the Democratic Party really hasn't been about the Black man.
I know that neither one one of
So
these parties
in a way, the Democratic Party opened up the avenue for the Republicans to, kind of sweep in the back door and be like, okay, look, we're listening to what you got to say. Don't mean we're going to do anything, but at least let's have a conversation, because if you stay over here, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting, which is nothing. You're about to be extinct. So, I mean,
So it was kind of like it was kind of like this. The Republican Party never stepped out of their comfort zone in order to come to the Black community, because of the fact that we was hook, line, and sinker, and we were already sold to the Democratic Party for free. Now what they're saying is, wait a minute, these people happens to be a viable candidate for us. We can actually go out there and get them. So and what changed that was Donald Trump sat down with Ice Cube, and he was ready to absolutely sign the bill. And so what the Republican Party was like, wait a minute, hold on. If we actually give them something, they will vote for us. We will. If you give us something tangible, we will absolutely vote for you. For real. The difference between Black men and Black women, and it is just by nature. Black women are emotional by nature. Black men are more analytical by nature. So therefore, because they're more analytical, they're providers and protectors in the priest over the home by nature, because that's the way that God made them. What they're coming to the table is, if you listen to us, and if you absolutely going to give us something, and we never got anything over there, then definitely we're coming. But Black men are not coming by themselves. There is a vast demographic of Black women that voted for Donald Trump as well, and they're already over there off the bandwagon. But a lot of people are not talking about the fact that there was on Donald Trump's bandwagon because of the fact that they did not want to be part of the cancel culture, because it was loud and stated that, hey, I'm not going to rock with you. I'm not going to talk to you. We're not going to be friends nor family anymore. And you're going to lose out on money and everything else if you happen to go Republican. Like Joe Biden said, hey, if you don't vote for me, you ain't Black. You wasn't Black because I'm offering you nothing. It is because you ain't Black because of the fact that I said,
because you've been rocking with me for free. So
absolutely.
continue on.
So today we're saying we want something tangible, and Black men are going to get it. That's why white Republicans are coming to the table saying, Black men, we understand, we heard your cry, and we're prepared to offer you something if you guys are going to switch the vote.
And I'm telling our Black women, because we are listen, if this ain't an alarm bell sounding, this will irreparably split us. So
here's the switcheroo that people are not looking at. Every day you see out there that Joe Biden is getting weaker and weaker. He can't see. He's so frail. He doesn't anything. The Democratic Party knows that they can't run a Joe Biden and Kamala Harris ticket in order to win in 2024. So between now and next year, they're going to get rid of Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris is going to be your president in order to sway the Black vote.
She already said it. She already said it.
Absolutely. To sway the Black vote and say, hey, now there's a Black lady that's the president. So
she really ain't even Black.
The Democrats again. Oh,
she
wait
got
a minute.
everything.
Hold on. Y'all said she was Black.
She got everything but Black running through her bloodstream. But we claim people. They got a little melanin. We claim them. That's another problem we got going on.
But as soon as
call a thing a thing.
As soon as she became president, she told y'all she was Asian. She is. But she was no longer Black. So therefore, that's the switcheroo. Come down the pipeline between now and the election season of 2024. We will no longer have Joe Biden. We're going to have Kamala Harris, and they're going to perform that switcheroo as the president. They're going to perform that switcheroo because she's Black and she's a woman. So if we have a Black woman president as y'all symbolism again, then we're going to get 100% of the Black vote, in which they don't understand that Black men are no longer for symbolism, and some Black women are saying we need more.
All right, we're gonna put a pin in it there. We're gonna put a pin in it there. Thank you guys for coming up. I appreciate it. Everybody, hang back. We're gonna get
conversation, ladies.
I'm gonna get up out of here. This was interesting. I learned something. I think My sisters will see, because I'll get a chance to talk to y'all more about this. And I appreciate my sisters for coming up, my cousin Khadijah for coming up, and obviously the other fantastic content creators. My Sexy is Strong. Please go check her out. And Almond Eyes, please go. Almond, how in the hell did you sit there for 7 hours on the live stream?
Man, we got to talking, and it went that. I mean, conversation. Honestly, in my family, that's normal. Like Thanksgiving, we'll show up at like 3 o'clock, and it'll be 2 o'clock the next morning.
Look, I woke up. Look, I went to sleep.
I mean, for me,
I went to sleep. I woke up because it was on. I had it on the TV, and I looked. I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and I actually had to cut it because I was like, "Look, y'all, I gotta go to work."
You were 15 minutes away from 7 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, y'all. Hold back.
I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king and I will never knew. Plotting for my fall, you getting hanged for treason. I don't aim to please, do anything I feel. Haters gonna talk, don't listen to the shit. They tryna be like me, they know they can, yo. Can't even get close, I'm on a pedestal, sitting on my throne. My neck be decked in gold, I don't do no hoes, I got a queen though. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody, I'm busy doing my thing. Mess with me and you could get forgotten, just let it sing. I don't play, I just win every day, I get it in. I'm a king, I told you guys before, ready for the war, to get me way much more. Got the oldest boys, add them to my kingdom. Shout out to my fans for pledging your allegiance. You get a reward, the best flow you've ever heard. I don't be mixing with birds, I'm a lion on the surge. Always pushing to the edge, facing arrows, never scared. For my greatness I'm a servant, only under myself. I'm a king cause I do what I want and what I need. I don't need you to nobody.